When I linked up with Brock Pierce today, he was in transit between meetings, and it occurred to me, some people just don't move through history, they make history. Brock's story is one of constant reinvention, from child actor to internet pioneer, and from gaming economies to the birth of blockchain. Brock is a true disruptor. He's a billionaire and he's a philanthropist. Brock has built great things out of absolutely nothing, again and again. He's one of Bitcoin's earliest believers and investors. He actually helped to fund the development of the Ethereum blockchain. And that was through the original ETH crowd sale, which actually took place with Bitcoin. He bought ETH with Bitcoin. He co-founded Tether, USDT. He started Blockchain Capital. And today he serves as chairman of the Bitcoin Foundation. Brock is helping to guide the future of digital currency and the future of the world. He also co-founded Mastercoin, the world's first ICO. He co-founded Block One, which conducted the largest ever crowd sale, raising more than $4 billion. I've been researching Brock for a bit and stalking him on social media, learning all that I could. And the deeper I went, the more mind blown I was. I was like, okay, he was here in the beginning. He basically created YouTube before YouTube. He created gaming worlds and digital currency. Like, he literally created the first digital currency in games like World of Warcraft and Second Life. I mean, he was literally in the metaverse before we had the word metaverse. I mean, he actually also ran for president of the United States. And although our time was limited today, and he was literally in a vehicle while I was here in my office, even during that limited conversation, he dropped so many gems about his career, his faith, and what drives him. He also shed some light on his fearless pursuit of innovation. This episode is just the beginning. This is just part of our conversation. This is just the tip of the iceberg, and it's to be continued. But one thing I can tell you is that if you want to learn about the history of blockchain, you don't need to read about the history of blockchain. All you need to do is study Brock, or as I like to call him, the Brockchain. I present to you Brock Pierce Unplugged. Well, you started out working before most people actually worked. You were a child actor. And how did that happen? Can you talk a bit about that?
Well, yes, that would be my mother. My mother got me into the business, and I started when I was three years old. My first memory takes place on a set, making a television commercial for a radio station. So a radio channel was making a television commercial to promote their radio channel. And so it was a commercial called "Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys."
Oh, but then you grew up to kind of be a cowboy.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's fun. So that's your first memory. And then you continued and you did some really cool things, some really big things that I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably seen, probably heard.
I think the most notable would be the first movie. I play young Gordon Bombay, Emilio Estevez in The Mighty Ducks, right? The Flying V. It's a great redemption story. The underdog coming back, and flying together. It's a great movie, iconic, for anyone that's into hockey, and for all those that want to get on the ice, right, and win. Right. So with that Flying V, that V for victory, other sort of iconic movies. I did a bunch of movies in Minnesota when I was a child before Disney brought me to Los Angeles for Mighty Ducks 2. I also did parts in Grumpy Old Men and Untamed Heart and Little Big League. And then Disney brought me out to California to shoot Mighty Ducks 2, which led to me moving to Los Angeles. my first night in Los Angeles when I moved there was the night of the Northridge earthquake, the big earthquake, 1994, January 16th. And then went on to make a bunch more movies. Probably most notable would be, First Kid, where I played the son of the president of the United States of America with Sinbad as my Secret Service agent and Bill Clinton and Sonny Bono having cameos in the movie. A couple of other interesting things because I decided I didn't really want to be an actor shortly thereafter. I really enjoyed growing up as an actor, but it was, it didn't feel like my calling to perform. I felt that I was here to create, to produce, and I was watching the internet emerge as the kind of first generation of kids that had access to the computers and internet connections, and I saw how the internet was going to change the world in which we live, and so I decided I wanted to go pursue that. But I did do a couple of final movies, one in Egypt, a movie called Legend of the Lost Tomb, where I had the great pleasure of filming on top of the Great Pyramid, with the Ministry of Antiquities asking me to engrave my name into it. And then finally, my final movie was I was asked to do one last film by Billy Graham, as a gift to God, a gift to Jesus Christ. And so I came back and I did one final movie to hang up the hat at that time for another redemption story. It's a movie called The Ride with Michael Biehn, who you would know from Terminator and Tombstone and Aliens. And so that was my final movie before I became a tech entrepreneur. I became, I think, the youngest internet entrepreneur in the world at 16 in 1997, starting the first major iconic digital media company, to transform the media industry.
Yeah, that brings me to my next question, because you were 16. You were 16 and you're like, this is the way. How did you know? And that's really when I caught the bug too, with the internet and then, just telling everyone, no, you don't understand. Everyone's going to be working from home someday. But how did you know that this was going to change the world?
Well, can you answer that? How did I know? Well,
was it just a feeling, or you just thought it was super cool? Or yeah,
two answers to that. I say first and foremost is, I've always been guided. I've had the gift of foresight to see in over the horizon and around corners, a seer of sorts.